thank you. And may God bless you once again for joining me on Sikamperov on YouTube. If today happens to be your first time on this great platform, please don't forget to hit on the subscription button to become a member of this family. After clicking on the subscription button, please click on the bell icon also and select from the options of notification. So doing will enable you to receive future videos that I am going to upload on this platform. In the same way, if you think the content of this video is very entertaining, is very educative, please hit on the like button also. Additionally, you can also use the share button to move this video from the YouTube platform to go to other social media platforms. And please recommend this channel to your friends, Africans in diaspora, and all families back home. Thank you, and may God bless you that you are going to do that. Today is a beautiful day that the Lord has made once again, and we are together rejoicing in this day, and we are together going to leverage on this day to learn something new to better our lives in Africa and our lives in the diaspora. So one of the major questions that you mostly see people that have gotten married to, their spouse who is living in the diaspora or who is living together with them back in Africa, and they're deciding to move to the diaspora together. Sometimes they do ask themselves these questions. So if I am in a place like America with my husband, if I am in a place like Canada with my husband or with my wife, if I am in a place like Australia with my wife or with my husband, should I consider having a joint account with my husband, or I should consider having a separate and independent account? I'm talking about bank account for my husband. This has become an issue of contention between married couples in a place like America, in a place like Canada, in a place like UK, and in most European countries. 40% of the domestic violence, the domestic abuses that mostly is witnessed, that is mostly witnessed in the African homes in the diaspora, is as a result of this simple issue that people cannot reach a compromise on. According to the lady, she doesn't trust the husband when it comes to handling of money. And according to the husband, he also doesn't trust the wife when it comes to handling of money. And they both seem to be in conflict. They both seem to be in disagreement always when it comes to issues with money, how we are supposed to handle our money, how we are supposed to save our money, and how we are supposed to invest our money. So as the husband is asking this question, the woman or the wife is also asking the same question. Now, what is the way out? How do we strike a balance with respect to this issue? This is where I comes in as Sikamperov to share my little experience and knowledge with respect to the same life that I may be living with this couple in America, with respect to this same life I may be living with this couple in Canada, I may be living with this couple in Australia, because mind you, sometimes life in the West is almost like the same. Most Western countries are running the kind of like the credit system of life like that of America. You see, most of the Western countries all copied their Western kind of life from America, especially how their economy is being run on credit. Or most economies or most Western countries that are running the capitalist system, they all copied it from the American way of doing things. So life in America is equally like life in Canada, is equally like life in UK, is equally like life in Australia and in New Zealand. It's almost like similar, no difference. So now, according to my little knowledge and understanding, I'm thinking that when we decided to get married, we both understood marriage to be a husband and wife coming together as one body, and together making inclusive decisions that may stand to benefit them and to also benefit the fruit of of the womb of the woman. So I don't see why you are my wife. I don't see why you are my husband. And basic understanding that we are supposed to have on some common issues that needs to have an impact on our life. We are always fighting and we are always, struggling with these issues. And that becomes a test of the marriage. That is either we are still not understanding each other in the marriage life, or it's either we are trying to deceive one another in the marriage life that we are both living together. So my simple understanding to this issue is that sometimes if you are my wife, if I'm your husband and we are both living in a place like America, I mostly mention America and use America as an example because that is the place that I'm finding myself, okay? So sometimes pardon me for that. So if you're my wife, if I'm your husband and we are together living in America or Canada or UK, you may have your own families back in Africa, okay? I may also have my own families back in Africa. Because mind you, as Africans, we do practice the extended kind of family. You see, life in the West is like nuclear kind of family. You see, when American get married to the wife, it is the husband, the wife, and the children. Sometimes they hardly even consider the extended family. So they practice the nuclear kind of family. But in Africa, we practice the extended kind of family. So I marry my wife parents, her siblings, her extended family becomes my family also. And in the same way, me as the husband, my mother, my father, my siblings, my extended family becomes a family to my wife also. So that is the kind of family system we practice in Africa. And if even we still do move to the West, we still stick to the same extended kind of family. We don't adapt to the Western kind of the nuclear family because that wasn't the way we were brought up. So, for serenity to prevail, I'm thinking that ladies sometimes are fond of, doing certain things that they would always want to have a financial independence on. Ladies especially, wives especially, would want to be able to have money on them always. To be able to buy certain things that they wouldn't want to ask their husband for money to buy. Sometimes ladies out of their own wisdom, wives out of their own wisdom would want to make some interventions in the life of their mother, their father, or their parents that sometimes they struggle to maybe convince their husband to come along. The same thing does also applies to the husband with this same issue that I'm trying to raise. So if we got married and we are thinking like we cannot reach an understanding on how we are supposed to support the welfare of my wife's family, on how we are supposed to support the welfare of my husband's family, then I'm thinking that once we are both living in the West and the wife is working and the husband is working and we are both struggling to reach an understanding with this simple issue, then why don't we have a separate account or we have our own individual accounts so that, the wife cannot be looking into the husband account and the husband cannot also be looking into the wife account. Because the life that we came to the West that we are exposed to that we understand is that some basic responsibilities in a place like America, like paying off rent, paying off electricity bills, paying off water bills, paying off sewage, paying off Wi-Fi, phone bills, buying of groceries for the month, all that, shopping that has to do with the whole family. Basic understanding tells us that we both contribute to be able to make this life possible. Sometimes most responsible husband would always want to take the lead. They wouldn't want the wife to be intervening in some of this issue because they want to be doing it as men so that their pride would always be in tight. So that the respect that they would want to command from their wife is always going to be intact. And it's never going to be left shaken. But some men, even though they are responsible, will still want their wife to also support with the bills paying and support with anything that has to do with their family. So in a situation like that, my little understanding, my little knowledge that I would want to share with my fellow Africans, fellow Asians that are all living life in America or in a place like UK or in a place like Canada is that if you cannot honestly trust your wife, if your wife cannot honestly trust you, that I have decided to do everything together with my husband. So because I loved my husband to death and I'm fully committed to my husband and my husband is fully committed to me and we are both vowed to do everything together, support our both families together without not going at each other's back, if this commitment is there, then it becomes so simple for you to operate one account. I'm emphasizing on the one account based on the true commitment existing between the two of you, and this commitment is so intact, it's unshaken. So if this commitment is there, the wife trusts the husband to the core. The husband trusts the wife to the core. The wife believes in the husband to be supporting the welfare of the family. The husband also believes in the wife to be supporting the welfare of his family. And this thing has been in existence for a very long period of time, and nothing seems to be causing it to be shaken. Then in that situation, it is so good, so loving, so beautiful to be having a one bank account together. That one bank account, the wife has the details of the bank account, the husband has the details of the bank account. The wife knows the amount of money she is contributing to that bank account. The husband also knows the amount of money he is also contributing to that bank account. They all have the same commitment with respect to what they are using that savings that they are doing together to do with respect to the life of their children, the life that they are living here, and also the life that they want to build in Africa. It becomes so easily. It becomes so loving when this true commitment is there. And you see, we try to be there for each other's family at the same time. We don't discriminate. What I would want my wife to do for my parents, I will do the same thing for my wife's parents. I mean, when this commitment is there, when this understanding that forms the foundation of every marriage relationship is there, it makes the marriage so beautiful. So nobody would even convince you that hold a one account or hold a one bank account with your husband, because you guys understand each other to the core. But when the understanding is not there, when you both seem to be in doubt, when the wife doesn't trust the integrity of the husband, when the husband cannot vouch for the integrity of the wife, when the husband thinks the wife is a spendthrift, and the wife also thinks the husband is also irresponsible when it comes to spending, then why not you both have your own independent bank account? Because if you are reckless with your money, you worked hard for your own money and you are operating your own bank account. So what you do with your money is up to you, and what I also do with my money is up to me. So when this stays like that, we don't both fight on these issues, because your money belongs to you and my money belongs to me, even though we are still husband and wife. And we have the common understanding that when it's time for rent, you contribute some from your own bank account, and I also contribute some from my own bank account. And that applies to all the responsibilities that entails with our family life. And when this understanding is there, and you're both respecting it, and it is, making you guys happy, and it's not, threatening your relationship or your marriage life, why not? Then keep on having the separate account. Yes, keep on having the separate account. Because the separate account that you both are having is working for you. Because the separate account is preventing the wife from looking into the husband's bank account. And it's also preventing the husband from also looking into the wife's bank account. And it's working for you both. Even though you're having a separate bank account, you're both making the lives of your children meaningful. Even though you're both having an individual account, you are still making your life possible. You are still living a happy life. So, in an instance like that, you don't need the joint account. Because the separate individual account that you both are having, it is still working for you. It is still making your marriage life beautiful. It is still making your marriage life enjoyable. It's still making your marriage life uncomparable. So why try to hold a joint account, knowing very well that could be a threat to your marriage life? So sometimes it is hard for you to give an emphatic answer to this question that am I supposed to consider having a joint account with my husband, or am I supposed to consider having a separate bank account of my own, and my husband would also become operating his own bank account? Like I said, I've given the scenarios. When the scenarios are that you both understand one another and you both are into one another, you both can vouch for one another's integrity, then holding a joint account is never a problem at all. But in a situation that the trust is a problem, vouching for each other's integrity is a problem, then with my little knowledge and understanding, I would suggest that respectfully, my wife, operate or have your own individual bank account, and I will also have my own individual account. And for the sake of our marriage life, and for the sake of our love, for the sake of we raising our kids and our family together, anything that has to do with the family, let's both contribute so that we can support it, as much as doing so is making us happy. So in both sides of the angle, it could be right. It could be right for married couples to have a joint account, and it could be right for married couples to also have a separate individual account based on the understanding and based on the richness it is bringing to their marriage. Mind you, at the end of the day, marriage life is supposed to make us happy. It's supposed to make us give productive results to the commitment we both made to ourselves before we got married. I mean, what is marriage without happiness? What is marriage without enjoyment? What is marriage without peace? What is marriage without productivity? What is marriage without benefit? What is marriage without profit? These are the exigencies that we are always looking at and that's committing ourselves to. So once we have both come to understanding with this issue, it is going to make us settle to understand one another, settle to respect one another, and settle to live together in peace, in harmony, and in love for the sake of our children and for the sake of our families. So I believe the little knowledge I've been able to share with this issue, the little light I've been able to throw with respect to this issue, is no more going to bother you as a wife living with your husband in America. It's no more going to bother you as a husband living with your wife in America or in Canada or any place you may be finding yourself, because as I said, the secret to all this is about understanding. Those that decided to hold a joint account is about understanding, and those that decided to hold an individual separate account is about understanding. And both are right, providing it's making their marriage life enjoyable. Thank you, and may God bless you for staying tuned. Never leave this channel without not subscribing. I will see you again.